Hi students, this is AJ sir. Let's study 10th standard ICSE Math Chapter 1 GST Exercise 1B. In Exercise 1B, cancel the first sum. Let's read the third question. The goods or services are sold from Kota to Mumbai. They are in different states. So that's an interstate transaction for rupees 20,000. And then it's from Mumbai to Pune, which is intrastate. Rate of GST is 12%. Profit in Mumbai is rupees 5,000. So what is the net GST paid at Pune, and the dealer in Pune is the end user? First, let's understand the flow chart. From Kota to Mumbai, 20,000. Then from Mumbai to Pune, 25,000, because 5,000 profit at Mumbai. So the selling price at Mumbai was 25,000 and the cost price at Pune is 25,000. These values don't include the tax component yet. Now let's start calculating. They have asked for the GST at Pune, the net GST, that is the total GST that would be charged in the bill at Pune. Now that doesn't mean that the person at Pune will have to pay that GST directly to the government. We are just talking about the tax component in the bill. So we can simply say it is 12% of 25,000, which is 3,000. The steps of the sum are like this. First of all, the selling price at Kota 20,000. Then the IGST is 12% of 20,000, that is 2,400. It is interstate, so IGST. The cost price at Mumbai is rupees 20,000. The selling price at Mumbai will be the cost price plus the profit, so that's totally rupees 25,000. And the tax will be charged on this. 12% GST will be split 50-50 between CGST, that is central GST, and SGST, that is state GST. 6% and 6%, and the total comes up to 3,000 rupees. So that's the net or the total GST charged at Pune. Remember, the end consumer never has to pay GST to the government because he has already paid it to the previous person in the chain. So the sum is over, but let's analyze this transaction further. If 25,000 was the cost price for the guy at Pune, how much did he actually pay? He paid 28,000 because 3,000 tax was added to this. Similarly, the person at Mumbai had a cost price of 20,000, but how much did he actually pay to the person in Kota? Well, 20,000 plus the IGST, which is 2,400, that is totally rupees 22,400. He paid that. So the person at Kota will receive 20,000 and keep it in his pocket, but that additional 2,400 paid will be paid to the government. Similarly, when the Mumbai guy got 28,000 rupees, don't think that he has earned more profit than 5,000. Yep, 5,000 will be his profit. 22,400 he has already paid. But still there is an excess of 600 rupees with him. That excess of 600 rupees is the tax amount which he will have to pay to the government. But why won't he pay 3,000 rupees tax? Because out of this 3,000 rupees tax, 2,400 has already been paid to the government. So he will pay only the remaining 600 rupees as tax to the government. If you notice, 2,400 plus 600. So totally how much tax is the government getting in the end? 3,000. That's the whole logic behind it. The government will get 3,000 rupees tax, but not from a single person. It will be broken up throughout the chain. Only the end consumer never has to pay directly to the government. Businesses, companies in the chain have to pay GST. And the GST that they have to pay is the tax on the profit they are earning. If the Mumbai guy is selling something for 25,000 rupees, he doesn't have to pay 12% of 25,000. Why should he? He has already paid his taxes, which has been received by the government. He will pay a tax only on the profit he is earning. So if the question was changed and it was asked, how much GST will the Mumbai guy pay? There are two ways to calculate that. First, 12% of profit, which is 600. That gives you direct answer. Second method is, you calculate the tax here. This is called the input tax or the input tax credit. You calculate the tax out here, which is the output tax. And the output tax minus the input tax gives us the tax paid by this dealer, the middleman. So you can use either method. Let's do some sums related to this type. The fifth question. A is a dealer in Meerut, UP. He supplies goods services worth rupees 15,000 to dealer B in Ratlam, which is in MP. So it is an interstate transaction. And the dealer B in turn supplies the same goods services to dealer C in Jabalpur, MP. So that will be an intrastate transaction. And here the profit is rupees 3,000. GST is at 18%. Question number 1. What is the cost of goods and services to the dealer C, assuming that the dealer C does not sell the goods services further? So he is the end user. And if you remember, the end user does not have to pay any GST to the government directly. And Roman number 2 is the net payable tax by dealer B. Dealer B is the middleman. And if you remember, how much tax does the middleman pay? Well, he pays a tax only on the profit he is getting. Or the other way to calculate that is output tax minus input tax, which is what I prefer using in sums. Let's understand the flow chart of this sum. It's always better to start like this and then solve. So A sold something to B at 15,000. He added 3,000 for profit and sold it to C at 18,000. These values don't include the tax component. Now let's talk about Roman number 1 question. The cost of goods or services to dealer C. At what is the amount he will actually pay? Yup, it is 18,000 printed on the goods. But he will have to pay tax on that also. How much is that? It's pretty straightforward actually. We know the tax is 18%. So 18,000 plus 18% of 18,000 will give you 21,240. That's the answer of Roman number 1 directly. But let's analyze this flowchart further. When A sold the goods or services to B at 15,000, he charged a tax of rupees 2,700. So B actually had to pay how much? 17,700. That's including the tax. But out of this, 2,700 will not go in the pockets of A. It will be paid to the government. So that is the IGST component. Since the selling price was 15,000, the IGST, the interstate GST is 18%. So that's 2,700. Why interstate? Because it is between two states. That's why. Next, when this 15,000 object was sold further, and with a profit of 3,000, that becomes 18,000. A tax of 18% was charged on 18,000. No, we won't add this 3,000 to 17,700. Not at all. The selling price is still 18,000 only. Yes, B has paid 17,700, but the price printed on the goods is 15,000. So the selling price is 18,000 now with the profit. We don't pay tax on tax. That way the government would get so much profit, so much tax. I call it profit because you know what happens with a lot of the tax amount. But now this is an intrastate transaction. So let's break up the tax into CGST and SGST. Yes, in the bill that we produce, we have to show the breakup because 1,620 has to go towards the central GST and same amount to state GST. So the 18,000 plus the total GST of 18% is 21,240. So the final bill amount is 21,240. That's what C would pay. That was Roman number 1. But next the question is, how much net tax would B pay to the government? No, it won't be rupees 3,240. It is true that 18,000 is the basic price of that goods or services and the additional 3,240 should go to the government. I agree with that. That is a tax amount. But out of this, 2,700 has already been paid to the government. So why should again 3,240 be paid to the government? No. B would pay just the extra tax left over. B would pay just the tax on the profit he has earned. Because he already paid 2,700 to A, who would give it to the government. So he would give how much tax to the government directly now? 18% of 3,000. So rupees 540 is a net payable tax by the middleman B. And the other way to calculate is the output GST minus the input GST. And the input GST is also called input tax credit, by the way. Mark the 5th sum as IMP. Now the 7th sum. There are some services worth rupees 50,000 transferred from Delhi to Calcutta. That will be interstate. GST rate is 18%. Then from Calcutta to Nainital. That is also interstate. So there will be no SGST and CGST in this sum, only IGST. And there was a profit of rupees 20,000 here. What is the output tax at Delhi, Calcutta and Nainital? So let's look at the flow chart now. So Nainital to Kolkata, 50,000 selling price. Kolkata adds to 20,000 to it, so selling price now is for Nainital is 70,000 towards Nainital, and the cost price for Nainital will be 70,000. These values are excluding the tax. Now let's talk about the tax. What is the GST percent? 18%. So Delhi to Kolkata, IGST 18%. That's 9,000. So Kolkata would actually pay 59,000 rupees to Delhi. And the excess 9,000 rupees Delhi will have to give to the government, IGST. So that's Roman number 1. Output tax at Delhi is 9,000. Next, when Kolkata sells it to Nainital for 70,000 rupees, again, he will charge a tax of 18% on 70,000 rupees. And 18% of 70,000 rupees is rupees 12,600. So that means the person at Nainital will have to pay totally 82,600 including tax. But this 12,600 rupees tax that Kolkata has collected, he doesn't have to give it entirely to the government. Out of this 9,000 rupees tax he has already paid to Delhi, who has transferred it to the government. So how much tax will he give now directly to the government? The output tax minus his input tax. So that is 3,600, which is nothing but 18% of 20,000. He is paying tax only on his profit amount. So what is the output tax for Kolkata? Rupees 12,600. And what is the output tax for the person at Nainital? Well, the person at Nainital is the end user. He's not selling it further. He doesn't have to charge tax on somebody or pay any tax directly to the government. So his output tax is rupees 0. By the way, his input tax is rupees 12,600. He paid that not to the government but to the guy at Kolkata. But he did not worry. He knows that ultimately this entire 12,600 will go to the government some way or the other. Just like the 5th sum was IMP, mark the 9th and 11th sums also as IMP. Let's read the 9th question now. The marked price of an article is rupees 6,000. A wholesaler sells it to a dealer at 20% discount. So this sum has discount involved. So the selling price would be less than the marked price. Then the dealer, the middleman, further sells the article to a customer at a discount of 10% on the marked price. GST percent is 18%. What is the amount of tax paid by the dealer to the government? The dealer means the middleman. Let's understand the flow chart first. Wholesaler, the marked price for him was 6,000, but he gave a discount of 20% on the marked price, which is 1,200. So the selling price for the wholesaler, that is the cost price for the dealer, was 4,800, excluding tax, of course. On this, the dealer gives a 10% discount. But should the discount be calculated on this new price or the marked price? Let's read the question again. It's mentioned discount of 10% on the marked price, on the printed price. So the price printed on the goods, on the article, is still 6,000, even though he purchased it at 4,800. He doesn't have to tell this to the customer. So he will give 10% on 6,000. So 10% of that is 600 rupees. So don't find the discount on 4,800 by doing 10% of this. No, it's on marked price. So minus 600. So now the selling price for the dealer and the cost price for the customer is 5,400 rupees. These values exclude the tax amounts. Now let's talk about tax. So when the wholesaler sold the article to the dealer, he charged a tax of 18%. But should he charge it on the marked price or the selling price? Well, obviously on the selling price. So 18% of 4,800 is rupees 864. That's the tax he charged, and the dealer happily paid that. So this is the actual amount he paid to the wholesaler, out of which 864 will be transferred to the government treasury by the wholesaler. And since it's not mentioned whether it is interstate or intrastate, we don't have to split it up. We will simply say GST of 18%. Next, when the dealer sells it to the customer, notice there is no profit here. Or is there? Well, the dealer took a 20% discount, but he's passing on only 10% discount to the customer. So actually he will be getting a profit. Obviously, that's the whole reason why he's selling it, to earn profit. He purchased it for 4,800, but he is selling it for 5,400. So he is getting a profit and he will have to pay a tax on that. 18% tax, but that is charged on the selling price. So 18% of 5,400, that is 972 rupees tax is charged in the bill. So the customer will have to pay totally this much amount, out of which he knows 972 will go to the government. But the dealer won't pay 972 to the government. He has already paid 864 to the wholesaler who transferred it to the government. So now he will pay how much to the government as tax? Output tax minus input tax, which is rupees 108. Or you can simply say 18% of his profit. How much is the profit? 600 rupees. He bought for 4,800, he sold for 5,400. That 600 is his profit. So he will have to pay 18% of that, which is 108 rupees. That's the question. And this is the solution. Output tax minus input tax, 108. Now the 11th sum. For a trader, the mark price of the refrigerator is 15,680. That is printed on the refrigerator. Exclusive of GST, means on top of that GST also has to be charged. Gagan, a customer for this refrigerator, he went into the shop, he liked the price, 15,680. Wow, 680. 15,680 is in his budget, so he would like to buy it. But when he got the bill, he saw that he has to pay more than that. He forgot that the GST was not included. But he says, no, I can't afford so much. He asks the trader to reduce the price of the refrigerator such that after reducing the price of the refrigerator and then charging the GST on that new price, final amount comes to exactly 15,680, which is what he transferred to the salesperson's account via net banking or via Paytm. But he didn't transfer the GST, so he asked for a discount this way, and the salesperson agrees to do that. The question is, by how much should the mark price be decreased so that then charging the GST will bring it back to 15,680? And no, it is not going to be equal to GST. That's not how the calculation is done. So let's see how it is calculated. So the mark price is rupees 15,680. GST is 12%. Let the discount amount be rupees X. So what is the selling price or sale price? 15,680 minus X. That's the new price. And the GST will be 12% of this new selling price. So that's 12% of 15,680 minus X. So how much amount is to be paid? The amount to be paid is the selling price plus this GST. And if you do the LCM, you will get it as 112 upon 100 into the brackets. This is the amount to be paid. But we already know that he paid amount which was equal to the mark price, which was equal to 15,680. That means this is equal to 15,680. Open the brackets, get the X term alone here, get this on the left hand side. Do LCM, cross multiply and get the value of X, and we get the value. So the discount is rupees 1,680. And that's what they had asked. Now if they ask us what is the actual selling price, we can simply subtract 1,680 from 15,680 and get the new selling price. And on top of that, when the tax is charged, we get the same final amount, 15,680. Hi students, if you found this video useful, press the like button. Also, to enroll for my online lectures or online test series, email me or message me on Instagram. Check the description for more information.